Hi, I'm Cindy, and you're watching Still Crazy After All These Beers.
Hi everyone, welcome to Still Crazy After All These Beers. I'm Gary Monterosso, and I have a special guest, a fellow by the name of Steve Gates. Steve, I've known you for a little while, haven't I?
Yeah, 3-4 years.
One thing I never asked you, are you related to Bill Gates?
No, I
wish, right?
I still have to work for a living.
You still have to work for a living. Well, unfortunately I do too, but for me it's beer. For you it's beer.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. It's a very special day today. We're here at a restaurant called Cork in Westmont, New Jersey, because it's the debut or the New Jersey introduction of a beer from Grand Rapids, Michigan called Founders Brewing. And you were very instrumental. Your company, which is Hunterdon Brewing, was very instrumental in bringing this beer to the state. How does that come about? I mean, that's kind of fascinating when a beer chooses to leave their backyard and expand their distribution. How do they go about finding you, or do you find them? How does that work?
Well, often it's a little bit of both. Generally, everybody at Hunterdon is my phone's still on. Everybody at Hunterdon is really passionate about beer and knowledgeable about beer, and that's why we're successful at selling all of these great beers. Is because we love them and we want to tell people about them. So it comes naturally. It's not hard work when you love what you're doing. So usually we're always on the lookout for new brands. And along the way, I guess 12, 13 years now, Hunterdon's been in existence, we've developed quite a reputation for people who know how to sell a good craft beer. So other brewers, talk to their friends who are other brewers. Everybody knows each other in the business. So generally, people will, say, hey, I want to, do business in New Jersey. So they'll talk to their friends that are already in New Jersey, find out, what the scene is like, who's doing a good job for them. Oftentimes it's us. And, we just take it from there. Sometimes we find them and ask them, please, can we sell your beer? We promise we'll do a good job. Sometimes they come to us and say, please sell my beer. And then we promise we'll do a good job.
And as you said, Steve, you guys have a really good reputation. You have a tremendous portfolio of craft beers in the state, and it's growing. And does that make it easier, maybe, to attract some of the better craft breweries that you want?
Absolutely. We've proven time and again that we can take a brand that no one's heard of or hasn't had a successful track record in New Jersey and turn it into a winning brand. As we grow bigger, we get a little more clout, and we're able to attract, more discerning brands, and then do a good job with those. So our track record really speaks for itself. And then, Hunterdon started about 12 and a half years ago with two guys who had a passion, created some beer. It was Hunterdon Jersey Shore Gold or Jersey Lager, one of those contract brewed by River Horse Brewing Company. And, they just started doing it. They just made it a success. They would go out the first half of the week, they'd go out and sell beer. And the second half of the week, they'd load it up in a van and deliver it. Two guys, Mike Short and Dave Masterson, the owners of the company. I guess we've just been able to, really, carve out a niche that was previously unexplored in New Jersey. People used to pass over all these brands. None of the big distributors had much of an interest in it until two beer geeks just sat up and said, I can't get good beer in New Jersey, and let's change it.
Well, it's still kind of early in the evening. People are starting to drift in. We're about an hour or so away from the actual debut of Founders.
7 p.m., yeah.
7 p.m., right, exactly. And I have actually one of the beers that you brought, and this is the Scotch Ale, and I took my first sip a little while ago, and I'll tell you, that is a big beer. It's a big, powerful beer.
Yeah, Dirty Bastard Scotch Ale is actually...
I beg your pardon. You talking to me?
No. Well, yes, but not about you. Not yet, anyway. I haven't had any beer myself. Dirty Bastard, I believe, is actually Founders' best-selling beer. It's their flagship, the first one that they started with, and that's kind of Founders' motto, was always to brew the beer that they wanted to drink, and that's what they started with. They wanted something big and hefty and flavorful, and just something that kind of hit you in the face on your first sip, and you knew you were drinking something different, and that's what they set out to do, and they do a great job. We were fortunate enough to take our whole sales team out to Grand Rapids and tour the facility and meet the guys. We met the brewer, we met the bottling line, we met the cooks in the deli, we met everybody. We were there for almost a week and had a great time hanging out, dancing around to some live music and stuff. If you ever get a chance to go to Grand Rapids, they have a great spot out there. And it's just, I guess a testament of, why craft beer is so successful right now is that, people are out there that want to drink better beer. and if you make it, they'll find it, and sooner or later you'll be able to get your hands on some.
What are a couple of the other flavors that you're bringing from Founders? I know there is a rye-based beer.
Yeah, right now, one of the ones that we're featuring tonight at the promo is called Red's Rye, which is a very hoppy, reddish color ale that's brewed with some rye. And rye malt, when it's brewed in beer, tends to give it a spicy note and also a kind of a smooth mouthfeel. Generally in some rye beers, and they're kind of in vogue right now. A lot of people are making different beers with rye, and they're becoming more popular. I think it's great. It's a great beer, no matter what's in it. It's a nice hoppy red ale.
You're right. Rye is a nice addition. I've had a few rye-based beers, and it's really it's earthy and it's somewhat spicy as you mentioned. And I'm glad to see more and more brewers getting involved with it. And there's one really phenomenally big beer. I know, not that this isn't, because it is. And tell us about that one.
Well, they actually are known for making quite a few big beers. The one we're featuring tonight is Devil Dancer, arguably one of the most imposing beers on the face of the earth. It's a triple India Pale Ale, weighing in at about 13% alcohol, so it's definitely a sipper. It'll put a boot to you. And I believe as of I think around 2006, there may have been some brewers that have surpassed it, but at one time it was the highest in IBUs ever documented.
Of course, IBUs, I want to mention, is International Bittering
Units. Yeah, that's for all the beer geeks out there, they get start foaming at the mouth over what has the more IBUs, and I mean for me it's really just a matter of taste. I don't particularly care what the number of IBUs is, but for those who are interested in specs and numbers and the chemistry of it all, it's basically just a measurement of the bitterness units in alpha acids. And it's calculated by a lab. You take your beer to a lab and submit it, and they measure the alpha acid that's in there, and they'll give you a number that says how bitter your beer is. So some could say my beer's bitter, more bitter than yours. And, I just think it's a phenomenal beer. It's really interesting and definitely imposing.
Well, like I said, the night is just getting started, and there's people coming in, and I'm going to stick around. I'm going to try all three beers tonight. Steve, thanks for bringing those beers in here. Founders Beers coming into New Jersey. This is the debut here at Cork Restaurant in Westmont, New Jersey.